Time is just a construct, and we just know that we're right on time, don't we? Yes. Okay. We together? More will be coming. Welcome to our annual meeting for 2026 of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And we are now about to get started. I've asked Rev Deb if she will come pray us in, and then we'll get started.
So let us just take in a deep breath right here and right now. And just let that breath go. We get to let go of all of the activities, the events, the conversations that have taken place prior to this right now moment. Allowing ourselves to get settled into this place. As we tap into our heart spaces, as we tap into the history and the love in this building right here, we give thanks for this day. Give thanks for this moment, for this opportunity that we get to come here together for this annual meeting. Knowing that right in the midst of everything that's unfolding is God. God is the creator of this building. God is the creator of this event. God is each and every one of us sitting in these seats, and those that are watching online and those that are on their way here. We bless this event today, this moment, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. So we just get to relax, lean into this now moment, knowing that every slide, every presentation, every conversation that happens for this event, that it is already done with the heart and the mind of God, and that it comes from this place of absolute love. We allow our hearts to open, our minds to open, to see and to feel something different and to hear something different, knowing that this is about growth and evolution, and that we, as this spiritual community known as the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, that we are thriving, that we are in this place, that we have said yes to be here, right now, and that this annual meeting is just a synopsis of the things that have taken place. But what I know is that there is so much more that we have, that we bring to this place and the world. So I bless Reverend Sunshine. I bless the board members, the new board members. I bless each and every member that's here in this community, each and every person online, knowing that we are in the right and perfect place at the right and perfect time, and that our voices, our hearts matter, that we matter in this place right now. So we just know that this meeting is already done. I give thanks knowing this is to be the truth. And I just release this into the law, knowing that it is already done, knowing that my words cannot return to me void, that they have already gone out and started making the magic happen, knowing that it is so. I bless this and anchor this with, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Rev Deb. How y'all doing? You full? Make sure you stay awake, because I know you just ate. Let's give our Deborah Jackson and her committee a round of applause for assembling what they've assembled. Thank you all for bringing things or for contributing. Let's give our AV team, who is staying afterwards too, and we even have a newbie on camera. She was just learning a minute ago, and now she's on the camera solo. Look at there. That's abundance in action. Thank you, everybody. Hi, live streamers and everyone who is helping this to come together. We have a good story to tell about where we've been and what we've been doing in 2025 and where we're going in 2026. We have a lot of slides. We're going to roll through them fairly quickly, but we want it to be interactive so that y'all can get your questions answered and any comments you want to make or whatever it is. This is our community, right? Next slide, please. Our agenda is pretty simple, even though there's a lot of slides, but a lot of recognition, because it takes so many volunteers to make this place work. So we are going to do 2025 year in review, a 2026 at a glance, which I'll do, and then our treasurer, Elke Moritz, will do the financials along with Beth Van Arkel, who's our president, and Reverend Jerry will talk about the pledge, and you know, the financials take up a chunk. And then we're going to do some highlights recognition, and then we're electing 2 board members, and we're recognizing 2 members that are stepping off. They've completed their terms. So there's that Q&A and benediction. That's okay with you? Okay, here we go. So in 2025, I just put highlights of some of the things that we've done. Y'all know, but when it comes to summary, you want to kind of know all together. So we've had selected classes and workshops throughout the year. We've had a meeting like this, the annual forum last March, plus the annual meeting, and then the other ones that are like every 3 months or so, not quite quarterly. We had 2 open forums. I host a quarterly leadership meeting of all the team leads and some of the rest of the teams, and we talk about different things. Just as a highlight, we had 2 ministers who left their position last year. Reverend Ike Param left her role and her membership here at the center due to several different reasons. And then Reverend Teresa Gardner, who was here earlier, and she's still attending, became a spiritual director of her own focus teaching center in CSL. So she's a member here, but she's doing her own thing. So that's just a big report to give you. We had 2 emeritus practitioners. One is here, Chaplain Doug Myers. Give him some love. This is about recognition. We're going to clap everybody up. And then Regina Buckwalter. So we have, of our 20, I don't know the exact number, 20 some odd practitioners, more than half of them are emeritus, which means they've been here for 20 years. So we are blessed with long service. And Rev Ali, if you're online, hello. She's usually online. She's a staff minister here, asked me about what the membership numbers are. So I added this bullet here, and Steve and I wrangled with this number. We're still wrangling with the number because our data in Breeze, which is our record-keeping system, it depends on how it's coded in there. So what I did was within the last 3 years, that's since I've been here, that was a good marker. This is my 3rd year, right? Since I've been here, we have approximately 138 active. This is important, active, 5 inactive. I think there's probably a few more than that. Why am I pointing out active and inactive? Because part of membership is about being active, loyal, and supporting through your volunteerism, through your giving, through participating in the center. But also what I've realized is since I've been here, I've had a lot of people say, I'm back. And it's like, oh, well, welcome back. But in their minds, they're still members, but are you active? So it's a tricky number that we play with. Anyway, that's roughly where we are. And we have roughly 60 to 85 people weekly on Sundays and roughly 25 to 40 on live stream. So those are the numbers. Okay, continuing, next slide, please. The ecclesiastical report. I'm going to hold the first bullet until last, and you'll know why in a moment. So let me go with the others. Last year, we made 80, right? And we had 2 major events. We started with the Love, Light, and All That Jazz concert with Tammy Hall and Lisa Ferraro. We sold out, so we had 200 people. It was a great concert. Anybody come to that? Yeah, it was great. Then we had our gala in September, which was also great, sell out. We used every nook and cranny of the center, and it took a lot of work, so those were 2 huge events. We continued with the 80th anniversary recognition with the chair dedication ceremony and campaign. 43 chairs were dedicated since we started in September 24. We have a lot more chairs that can be dedicated, but I'm kind of resting the program. Maybe we can revive it back up at some point, or if you want to, donate a chair, you absolutely can still do that. We've had a yearly focus for almost every year that I've been here, and y'all have really enjoyed that. Last year was on gratitude, remember? 365 gratitude and 365 science of mind, and that went off really well. The year before it was abundance, and now it's on forgiveness and love. So with gratitude, I was able to bring out Deborah Perdue, the author of the book, and she spoke and had a workshop, which was well received. Our social justice ministry really has been doing some big things, especially the collaboration between our 3 centers for spiritual living in Oakland, Heart and Soul, East Bay Church, and Oakland Center. So we've been collaborating quite a bit around sacred activism and social justice. We had Brother Ishmael Tete to come and speak with us. We had an aging workshop at the start of the year with Dr. Georgia Prescott. And Deborah, who leads I hope she comes over, she's a board member, and she's usually over there in the kitchen on Community Sunday, Potluck Sunday. She leads this annual vision board party for probably, 10 or 15 years? And it's always so looked forward to. So let's give a hand for some of these activities that we've had. And so I'm going back up to that first bullet because in December, just a couple months ago, we had volunteer recognition all month long. How we pulled that off, Robert and Andy, I'm not quite sure because we had holiday stuff we were doing or what have you, and we all thought it really important. And so it was a continuation of trying to decide how to pull together our volunteer groups. I am pleased to let you know that Robert Leeds and Nancy Hester, who's on our board, have stepped forward as co-leads for the volunteer team, so let's give that a hand. And they're going to come up and talk to you a little bit about what they're doing and what our needs are. And I do have a slide for you, Robert, right after, that comes after here. But for now, you can call for it whenever you're ready. Let's welcome them again.
Nancy, where are you? Do you want to get the sign-ups going around? Pass it out. Well, hi. As Reverend Sunshine Michelle said, Nancy and I are here to give you an update on what's happening with our Sacred Service program. I know we all understand that a center like ours runs on volunteers, that you are the life's blood of our beloved community. And I actually started working on this. I saw that there was kind of a gap in how our organization or some sort of system for matching up volunteers with what the needs were. And I started working on it about a year ago, and there was kind of some dead ends and some false starts and things like that. But then people started coming up and wanting to participate in that. And so it's really begun to gel, thanks to the support of a number of people. Because we've had like a Sacred Service ministry in the past. It's taken different forms, and it just had sort of fallen by the wayside a bit. So now we are, renewing that. And several people have expressed their interest in participating in the process to me, to contribute to this, which is really about just helping to contribute to a vibrant, growing, creative community. So I want to give a shout out to those folks. Nancy and I are the co-leads for the Sacred Service Ministry, and we also are being supported by Maureen Molina, Reverend Allie Hutchinson, Andy Robbins, and Tricia Gregoire. They've all been helping out in different ways. So our team is committed to a vision of a thriving CSL community, with even more connection, more fun, more inspiration, more fulfillment, to co-create, the highest and best that we could possibly be. So Reverend Sunshine Michelle mentioned the volunteer recognition that we had at the end of last year. I really think of that as kind of the kickoff that Andy and I hosted at the end of the year. And since that time, with support from Reverend Sunshine Michelle and from Steve Carter, there you are, we put together a list of all the ministries and the leads for those ministries. We sent out an email to those leads asking, first of all, is our contact information accurate? Are you still the lead of this particular ministry? And then asking them to start thinking about the roles that they oversee and what their needs might be going forward. And we know that there are short-term and longer-term opportunities. You know, short-term might be a one-time event like the 80th anniversary. A longer-term or ongoing role might be working with the AV team or the Sunday announcements, that sort of thing. And there are also little ad hoc groups that'll come together for a particular event, such as we've got a rummage sale coming up in June. That's going to be really great. So our plan is to have a regular sharing of where these invitations for service are. We would use a variety of ways to inform the community about those opportunities, including posting in the village newsletter, the Sunday announcements, maybe setting up a bulletin board for people who would prefer to read. And we also want to create occasions for members to find out more about the different ministries, what they do, and what might be a good fit for them based on their interests and their talents. So maybe like a sacred service fair, at some point. And we also want to find out from you where your talents and interests lie. And we're going to start that today in a really easy way. There's a couple of clipboards going around. And we're just asking you to put down your name and your email and phone number, just the contact information, if you're open to being contacted when there's a volunteer need. Just add your name and contact information to that list that's circulating. There's no obligation. You get contacted, and if you're not interested, you are free to say no. There will not be any guilt tripping. As someone once said, no is a complete sentence. So I'm going to turn it over to Nancy now. Yes, and please, by all means, say yes. So I'm going to turn it over to Nancy, who will share a number of the current and upcoming volunteer opportunities for you to come play with us.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, ongoing volunteer opportunities include Greeter for Sunday Service. Once again, I want to emphasize, you don't have to sign up and do this all the time. If you want to do a hit and miss, a drive-by to volunteer, we need people to say yes. So, Greeter for Sunday Service is one. We need cashiers to help Linda in the bookstore. We need another AV team member. And there are people who are doing this process now, and they're happy to train you. You don't have to have any prior experience other than just wanting to be supportive. We have one-time events, like our May 2nd event that's coming up, our June rummage sale, which is going to be really nice. And we're also doing the live auction again. We have the kitchen cleaning and reorganization. That's a big project that's coming up soon, and it means to organize and get the kitchen functioning because we're renting this facility out to other organizations, and we want it in top-notch condition. We have a rummage sale that's coming up. We need volunteers to support that sale. We're going to start taking stuff in 2 weeks before the sale. We need people during the sale and after the sale to help clean up. So if you're so inclined to want to help with that, see me and I'll take your name and number happily. We need help with the vibrational healing event that's coming up on May 2nd. And before, during, and after. These volunteer events, they don't take a lot of work or a lot of time. You can do it in shifts, you can do it one time. We just need you to say yes. And then also volunteering with the Celebrating Our Soul event is coming up. We need just one-time or full-time volunteers. I cannot emphasize that enough. Robert and I are doing our best to create this list of things that need to be done, to outline the activities so you know for sure what you can and can't do or don't want to do. But we just want to make it easy all the way around. So I've got the second clipboard. There's one going around. I'm going to pass this other around, and please feel free to sign up and just say what your interest is. Thank you so much.
Also, you can see on the facility, there's facilities use support. I added to that slide, and there's another slide coming up that I'll tell you more about that. Thank you so much. Okay, 2026 at a glance. We'll go through that real quick. Nancy mentioned the Vibration of Healing experience on May 2nd, that we have 3 events that I've started mentioning. We have World Labyrinth Day, which is a workshop and a walk by Lonnie Krantz, who is here this morning. We have a vocal toning workshop after that, which is led by our practitioner, Judith Roberts. Raise your hand, Judith. There's Judith. And then we have a sound healing experience that will be in here with multiple instrumentation and all of that. So it'll be a great event, an afternoon and evening event worth of events. Classes are back. The Essential Ernest Holmes, I've been co-teaching that with Reverend Gil Olmsted of the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. I see 3 students. In that 4 students, we had a good showing, a great showing actually from Oakland Center. We have about 20 people in there, and at least half of them were from OCSL. So yay us. We had 4 centers represented, and that ends this coming Thursday. The Education Corps is talking about the next class that we want to offer. We landed on mysticism. We'll see if it ends up being mysticism or self-mastery, which are both certificated classes. That means through Centers for Spiritual Living. So stay tuned for that. And then we also want to offer a foundations course. And the way they've broken it out now at CSL, there's 4 or 5 categories that classes fit in. So we're going to choose of that one in the foundation section, especially so that when we need to, in a year, have more candidates run for the board, and a requirement is that you've had Science of Mind classes, that we can have people who haven't taken them to be able to take them and to run for the board. We have an Enneagram workshop. How many of you know what the Enneagram is? Most of you do. Many of you do. It's a personality indicator that has 9 categories to it. It's fun to learn which one you skew to. We have a little bit of all of them within us, but you know, we are dominant in one or the other. And Reverend, they were my co-students in ministerial school, Reverend Melissa and Z. Anybody heard of Melissa and Z? We'll start to advertise this workshop that's going to be all day Saturday, May 30th. It'll be a fun time. And the next day, then they speak and they do the music. And so it'll be a great weekend. And then we have new membership coming up. We like to do 2 sessions of new membership in 1 year. And so we're looking right now, Judith Roberts and Susan Brecker, both practitioners, have been leading that. And we're looking to have 1 in June and 1 in November, because a couple people have asked me about, they want to join us. Membership is important. Nancy mentioned the yard sale and the silent auction. We're looking to bring the Wild Choir. We had a year and a half or so ago with Melanie DeMoore, and we're looking to bring them back, and that's looking like sometime in September. We're landing on a date. And then the holidays, we're going to have another crafts fair. We skipped last year to take a break, and we're going to bring it back. So these are things that are coming up for our year that we not only need volunteers for, we need participants at. We need you to come. So there's 2 bullets at the bottom of this page that I want to tell you about. This is something new. And this gets to the last slide that said we need facilities use support. So one of them is we're changing the model a little bit for facilities use. And one of them is exploration of a preschool on site. So let me first start with, next slide please, the facilities use. These are external uses for our facility, people who lease our space for weddings, memorials, classes, all sorts of things, right? It's an income generator for us. And our beloved Susan Brecker, who's sitting in the audience, who has been our coordinator in this area for a long, long time, is ready to step down, and she deserves to. So trying to figure out how to support that so that we can extend our facilities use has been an interesting task. And so what I've done is to break it into two categories. One on the left side is a volunteer effort, talk about more areas to be able to volunteer for. And these are support tasks for facilities use that include, we need about 2 to 4, I'm creating what I call in my mind a pool. If we have 2 to 4 volunteers in the area that can do intake, when people call in to the center and they want to use it and they receive those calls and those emails and talk to people. We need someone who can do master calendaring for OCSL, because most times if we're calendaring anything, we need to start with what's available on the calendar. Provide tours of our facility, and to do administrative tasks like reporting or processing payments or et cetera. So that will be 2 to 4 volunteers. I already have 2. It's a skilled, trained area. I really envision us doing it well and doing it the same way so that we have a show of consistency for OCSL when someone interacts with us. And so that's that pool. Okay, on the right side is contract, right? So whomever is utilizing our facility, our client, if you will, this person, these people, we need 2 to 3 who are kind of in this pool that we can call on to be day of support, that they can work with our custodian, Javier, on how the place should be set up, and then be on site the day of the event to make sure it's opened. If it's in the winter, the heat is on, the lights are on, that things are flowing well, and to lock up. So that is our new model for that. If you have an interest, if you have time, like the volunteer category requires somebody, or both of these, that has flexible time in their schedule. This is a significant need that we have, and I encourage your support. Okay, next slide is a proposal that kind of dropped in our lap via Christopher Brown and the developer that developed the property below us. That's a lot of houses there when we sold that property. And there is a play school, it's called Piedmont Play School, right here in Piedmont, who is looking for a venue and has chosen and asked if Oakland Center is a place that they can have their play school. So we are exploring what that would look like, what they would need. And what they need and would like to do is, and they're a long-standing play school, like for decades. They've been around, they're a co-op, they're parent-led, they're certified through the state of California. It would be an income generator for us. It's important, and we need to make sure that it works with our operation. Okay, so they would like to utilize the nursery. Y'all know where the nursery is in the other building, and I have spoken with Jackie O, so she does know this. They would like to utilize the nursery during the day, all through the week, not on weekends. And they'd also like to use this back lot where I'm pointing, that lot behind the building, for their play school. And they have a couple of pictures that I'll show you in just a moment, but we're already in conversations, and I am bringing it to you as a representative body of the community to get your input, because I don't want somebody to say, well, I didn't know about that. And you know, it's a good thing. There's pros and not so many cons necessarily, with the workarounds maybe, but a lot of you have said, we want to be family friendly in our community. This is a pipeline to that. If you think of the ages of the children are 2 to 5. This is preschool. It's like prior to them going to kindergarten. And California has a free preschool program. This one is a private one that is certified through California that would look to come here. They love this facility. They love the area. They think this would work really well. And we've been talking about the licensure process, which we're not burdened with. They are. They're licensed through the state of California, and all they need to work on is transferring their license here to this venue. So it's the licensure, it's insurance, it's both of our sets of insurance. And on our end, all we would have to do is they would have to name us on their insurance, which is common, and we would give that to our insurance company. There's property tax exemption, which we have an exemption as a religious organization, and we would have to change our exemption status next year. We wouldn't have to do it for this current school year, so that's good. But we would have to rally a process in order to change that when that came. And then we need to write a contract. We need to have an agreement and have someone look at it legally to make sure that it's enforceable. And feasibility, like how feasible is this, and will we remain in compliance with the fire department and all of that. So we've been engaging this process. It's moved far enough along that I thought, and so did the board, it was worth us bringing to this meeting. Let me show you the pictures. Okay, next slide. This is the outdoor space, the back lot. They mocked this up. This is what their space would look like during the day. It has a track for them to ride bikes. It has this thick foam mat for the smaller children, and some of these immovable, objects, I forget what they call that, like a tent. You see the tent erection that they could go sit under and sit and eat and whatever they do there. Okay, this would need to be gated. Our back would need to be gated over here. It would be at their expense to gate the area to make sure the children stay safe. This is important, what I'm saying to you. And I see sleepy eyes, and that's okay, I get it. I know y'all are sleepy, but we have to present it to you, right? And it would be a gate back here on this side so that no traffic could come through. There. What the next slide is, this is what the nursery would look like. You know what our current nursery looks like? This is their mock-up of what the nursery would look like. And so we would have to have, we'd have to agree on, we would use our space on the weekends like we would normally. We don't have a lot of babies in arms right now, so we don't use our nursery very much, but we could, right? So we would have to agree with our things and their things and some logistical stuff to work out. But you can see it's a beautiful, colorful space for children. And the next slide, please. And this would be, at some point, they may want to graduate into the upstairs room. For those of you who have been upstairs, when you get to the top of the stairs, Steve Carter's office is on the left, Dow and Susan Brecker's office is on the right. The next room on the left is the Busy Bee room with an accordion in the middle, and this is how they've mocked it up. And I think there's one more. There's an aerial view. And all this had to go into the licensure process So if you can see the red roofs, that's Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. This Clarewood Drive is our right outside here. And you can see in the blue, that's the back area. That's the nursery in blue. And next to it is the back lot. It's kind of hard to see, but we had to mock it up so that the California State could see it. Okay, here comes a moment where I want your input. Like, I know there's probably lots of questions, and y'all may not have an idea whether you may have an idea whether you're interested, you think we should go with it or not go with it. We'd like to explore this further. For the most part, we feel, this is the board and myself, that this could be a good direction to go, that this play school is in alignment with our values and we're in alignment with theirs. It's not a huge moneymaker, but it's some income when you weigh the pros and the cons. So I'm interested to know, of the people who are here, and I bet it's a mixed audience, that maybe not everybody is a member, but I'm going to ask the people who are here, how many of you think, by a show of hands, that we should proceed with exploring this as an option for us? And so, Nancy, I'm looking for you and Andy and Rev Deb to count the hands and to write it down, if you would, and take notes, right? So it's most people, but a good number. Hold them up a little longer. Okay. I'm going to ask 3 questions. I'm going to ask how many are interested. Thank you very much. You good, Nancy? Okay. How many of you do not think we need to, and I'll ask the last question, and it's not fair for, let me tell you what I'm going to ask you. How many think we should pursue? How many think we think we shouldn't pursue? And how many are uncertain? So how many of you think we should not move forward with this at all? How many are uncertain? Okay, there's some questions. We have a couple. I think I saw another hand go up, Nancy. It was 3. Okay, thank you. Let's just take a couple of comments. I don't want to just give like a drive-by. Can we take for those who have question? I saw a hand right here, Rev Deb and Judith.
Hi, you spoke that it's not a lot of money, but it's a lot of liability when you're dealing with children. And I'm wondering, in the planning of this, how many teachers, attendants are going to be around? Because children, they can get in and out. As much as we can lock up the main place, they can get in and out of places. It's a huge liability for a little bit of money. So I just, something to think about.
Nancy, I'm sorry I didn't ask you ahead of time. Will you take notes on the questions? Thank you. Great question. Our insurance company knows of this, and that's why we explored it with them. And the preschool is licensed by the state of California, so they have some requirements. There's a whole list of things that we would have to be in consideration of and include in a contract to ensure the safety that you're talking about. So as far as the numbers, thank you, I didn't say that. Initially, it would be 10 students. This is we're looking at like a 3-year window of a contract. The first year would be the 2026-2027 school year, starting in the fall. It would be 10 students. And if they use the upstairs Busy Bee space, it would, I'm going too fast. 10 students, they're looking at renovation that at their, not at our expense. It would be the developer that developed down here that asked us the question, wants to donate or work out with them renovation of the nursery to extend it to 16 students the following year. We would be the benefactor of that renovation, whatever, it would be to expand the nursery into that first parking stall, bring it out further. Then the following year, they would be looking at, this is the way it was first presented to me, at the upstairs room, the Busy Bee room, which would extend it by another 10 students to 26 total.
So if any, the preschool, we wouldn't be liable as a church if anything happened from one of the children
Right.
on the property.
Right. They have to name us in their insurance, and there's a certain dollar amount of the insurance. So there is, that relinquishes us of liability.
Okay.
And that's a key thing. That was on my
Absolutely.
mind, too.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, why a little bit of money? Why wouldn't it be a moneymaker? Childcare is very expensive now, and it's private.
Yes, so there
So
was some
what's the-
research that they did, that they shared with us, of comparing 3 different schools of their similar structure. And they chose to fall right in the middle of that. So if you had 3 tiers of tuition or what people would pay for renting a facility, they landed in the middle. You know, I don't know. I said it's not a lot of money. It didn't feel like it to me, but what do I know? I've never done this before, right? So we're working it out with the board of if that's viable enough or not. They're raising their current tuition to accommodate moving into a space like ours. So it's an increase for them as well. So let's just go to another question or two. Thank you. I'm sure you have others, but we have Judith, and then maybe we'll take Robert or Elka.
Yeah, I was wondering about specifics in terms of income, because you said it's not a lot of money, but
It's
I would,
$1,000 a month.
how much?
$1,000 a month.
Yeah, that's not a lot of money. Okay, thank you.
It has to be relative to, but keep in mind, it has to be relative to the space that they're using, right? So they're only using a room and the back lot, possibly the upstairs room as well. And so we can see how much room we have to negotiate, but we probably wouldn't have like a whole wide range of. Robert?
Hi. I want to start out just by saying that I really support this project because I think that there's a lot we can offer. You know, I mean, we were talking about this on the Sacred Service team too. Like Nancy recently cleared out the stage in the social hall. That's a great venue for like any schools that might want to maybe put on a play or a drama, club or something like that. So I think there's lots of ways that we can connect with our community and provide things like that. And that could even happen, like the stage could be used as completely separate from the childcare thing. $1,000 a month is not a lot, but if it's steady income, then that helps. And I thought I had something else to say, but I can't remember.
I see a couple hands, so we're probably going to take 3 more. I see Reverend Jerry, I saw Elka, and I see Amy. Let's start with those. I see your hand, but we're going to have to, because we have other things on the agenda. We're trying to get a feel for, should we move forward? Where did I say we were going? Oh.
My question was about the amount of dollars they will pay and measured against all the other items like our calendar availability and so forth. Would it be worth it? I think we really need to put a lot of focus on that question, on those.
Yeah.
how
It
that
was,
would-
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all.
I think it'll emerge as we move on.
And
with
maybe,
this.
I don't know if we want to, we don't have a lot of time to negotiate this, not that we have to feel rushed or pressured, given their situation and just to anchor this. So I don't know if we want a little sub-team to kind of hash out what the questions are or what. Reverend Jerry?
Thing, what type of an impact will losing our tax exemption have on us?
We won't lose it. We have to change it.
Change
So
it.
there are 3 types of exemptions for our county of Alameda. It may be broader than that. Religious exemption, welfare exemption, and I don't know the other one because it doesn't pertain to us. Right now we have religious. And in order to, Dow started out doing like a whole lot of research, so thank you. Dow Becker is sitting behind Reverend Jerry, our bookkeeper. Let's give her a hand. Just because, not only for this, but for other things. And so in order for us to consider this and to remain property tax exempt, we would need to move to the welfare exemption that allows for that. And so it wouldn't be a loss of, but Dow, am I correct in, we're exempt from paying about $10,000 property tax per year in our current exemption. So that kind of gives you a feel for, $1,000 a month times 12 is $12,000 as opposed to if I did a rough math to it. So it kind of weighs, but we wouldn't lose it. We'd have to apply. And I understand from the person I talked to at the assessor's office, it's quite a process, but we would just have to do it. Was there another one? It was Amy, and then I saw Suzanne. Oh, and I see two hands back there. I saw Cheryl too. Does Amy have a mic?
I do now. So mine's more of a comment than question. First, I'm very enthusiastic about this because it was one of the suggestions that I made a while ago when we had one of our meetings on how we can get income. Two, I think we have to look at some of the indirect benefits because we've been trying to grow our youth and family ministry, and I think that this indirectly grows that. So if it helps grow our membership because some of the people decide to come here on Sunday, then we also get an increase in members. Third, and I'm offering this without checking with my friend, but I'm sure she would be willing to help. My friend was very intimately involved when Temple Beth Shalom in San Leandro opened up their after-school program. And there is some way you set it up as a heritage, something like that, where you're providing cultural heritage or something. And I don't, because this preschool is not really from our teachings, I don't know how that applies. But if you wanted to explore, they went through this process. And the reason why they extended theirs was because Temple Beth Shalom was not able to financially keep ahead of the game. So they knew that their preschool was really what was keeping them afloat, and then they extended it to aftercare. So they've gone through this procedure, and my friend was intimately involved in that because she sat on the board. So I'm offering her help if you want to talk to them about that.
I would, and Nancy's taking notes, but say that to me again afterwards. I mean, if you would, so that we can do some best practice.
Okay.
Perhaps you can do an introduction. I would
Yeah.
be really interested in that.
Okay.
Thank you, Amy. I know that I see some hands. I know there's Suzanne. That is Suzanne. I saw Cheryl's hand for quite a while. So let's take Cheryl and then go to Suzanne. Let's see if we can squeeze in Helen.
So my comment is that rather than simply accept that $1,000 a month, we need to do some market analysis that allows us to comparably compare what that income should be. I understand that $1,000 a month is $1,000 a month, but if it's not consistent with the going rate and there is an upside potential, we need to know what that number is.
Yes, I agree with you, Cheryl. And the research, so another way that I would add to what you're saying is perhaps we can validate the research that the Play School has already done, because I asked her for that, because they did their own research to understand how much they could pay for that to, so, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Can you give her the mic back?
while you may be analyzing what you can afford,
Right.
there are also market forces.
Yes.
Because if a room rental in Montclair is probably $800 to $1,000 a month, and that is not a play school. So if there is a market potential
Yeah.
that says, well, it really needs to be more like this and we meet in the middle, let's just be sure that we've done the counterintelligence to make sure that that it makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure how we'd go about that, but if we sat down with some folks, we'd probably be able to come up with several schools comparable that, you know, we would talk to, but they'd have to be willing to give us that information, or I don't know if it's public, but, you know, we could figure that out. Let's bring a mic up here to Suzanne. And then we're going to end with Helen and an action of some sort.
Okay, I ran a preschool before, so I have a couple questions.
Oh, write that down, would you?
It was a while ago, but I'm curious about other part of our facility they may use. The bathrooms, the kitchen, will they use those? And who cleans them up? Because that's another
Yes.
cost.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we were talking about, I see your hand back there, Helene. I just wanted to acknowledge it. We were talking, I forget who it is, maybe on the board of utilities. Oh, maybe it was Dow, because we're always talking about our utilities, and they are so high. Our utilities and janitorial would go in that. And so there is a restroom in the nursery that, because the restrooms did come up, and who's to say that the adults wouldn't use it? They're presumed to use the nursery restroom as well, but those are little bitty. And so the others are right there. If I had my druthers, that's where I would go, but who knows? And so periodically using the kitchen as well. So it's a good point that you and Cheryl have, because when you add on a kitchen, they will have snacks. They will have lunch. I don't know if the parents bring that or what. It's a co-op. It's a parent co-op. So Nancy, if you can add that as well. Thank you. Helen.
Say that we live in an urban area where space is at a premium, and this is a gorgeous space. I come up here once a month to garden, and it is totally vacant, and except, of course, for our office, our wonderful office people. But I think making use of this space, making this space available to the community and children is of real value.
Thank you very much. And Helen, you made me remember, I wanted to just speak free form. I didn't write notes about, well, other than what was up there, because there was so much that I could say about this opportunity. But one of the things that's really important, and I said this to the president of the executive board at the Play School is who I've been interacting with, besides Beth Van Arkel was in a meeting with us as president of our board. Christopher Brown was in one of the meetings, and so was the other developer down here. And then we presented it to the board. But we want to use our facility for other things. So my concern was, what if that's happening during the time the school is in? How does that interact with the other? Will one interrupt the other? If the children are napping, do we need to be concerned about that because we have a wedding reception over there? Or how do they intersect? And so it's not that we can't figure it out, we just have to document it. So what we decided to do is take several scenarios. I talked it through and I played it out. Like, you know, a lot of times there will be, as Susan knows, a wedding or a memorial service on a Friday or on a Saturday, and she's setting up with Javier on a Thursday or what have you. How does that work with the drop-off of the children? If we have it documented how that's going to work ahead of time, then we can work that out and try to schedule when they don't intersect. Like the school offered, we can just choose, you know, if we have one of those moments, we can just choose how did she call it? Like kind of like a spontaneous field trip. and have the parents bring the schools to the firehouse, for instance, if they're touring the firehouse that day, while we have our thing happening. They may not always be able to have that, but you know, it could be worse with, you know, having children on grounds and having this thing. It's like community, it's activity, it's what we're looking for. Yeah. I don't have it right in front of me, but it's probably like, it's something like 9 to, I don't remember. It's a day program, I don't remember, so let me not even make that up. I do have that information somewhere. Sorry that I'm not bringing it comprehensively. Last but not least, Helene, and then we're gonna move on. We have a lot more to cover. No, that's all right. Oh, I did? Oh. Well, so as a next step, yes, Andy, you have the
Can I
mic.
just throw in the mix, there's a personality question too, and that's difficult to address. There's good roommates and there's bad roommates, and if, I'm just saying to whoever's dealing with this, if you can deal with the people directly and get a sense of who we're going to be roommates with. Because
Say that a different way.
Well, if somebody comes in with a more entitled sense, there's going to be a problem over a 3-year period, whereas if they're agreeable, et cetera, so getting to know the people involved would be
Yes,
important.
I've only met one person, and we were in love, and she and Christopher and Beth and I were in the room with her, and the values went like this. I was able to say, I deferred to them and they pointed at me. I was able to say who we are and what we stand for and what we're about. And you could just see her blossom because they're looking for the same thing. I don't think they'd go just anywhere. It's not only the property that they like, I think they really are liking who we are. So that makes sense. Now, that said, I have met a couple of the teachers. They've toured their whole board here. They've toured their teachers here. They have 2 to 4 teachers, I want to say. So we've had a number of interactions and conversations. So how about this as an action item? I am having a conversation with her tomorrow. She knows that I was talking to the board about this last week and the annual meeting today. And I will talk to her about any concerns, your questions. That's why I asked Nancy to write them down. I will take those to her on behalf of Oakland Center for Spiritual Living and see what she has to say. I was concerned, to be quite honest, and asked her when they kind of gave me their list of things, because they've kind of worked with their legal counsel of what their proposal is, basically. And they have several structures. Remember that picture I showed you that would be in that back lot back there, that colorful picture that was there. You can go back to it, Helene, maybe a couple. The very first one, not that one. That one. A couple of the structures, they named them in particular, are immovable. And I asked, did they have intent? When I thought about it, it felt to me as though we wouldn't be able to use our back lot on the weekends. And they said, because we have limited storage, which is a concern for them, they need storage, that then some of their structures are going to have to stay here because their teachers they don't have a place to put them, and they can't easily take them away on a Friday and bring them back on Monday. And this is weather dependent, no less. So you add some rain in here, then that's going to be sloshy. So I was concerned about that. I couldn't say why. This is only, according to Paul, 11 parking, but we use this quite a bit for our events where people in the kitchen or in different places are dropping things off. They're setting up, they're prepping. It seems like an important space, and I felt some kind of way about not having any access That wasn't their intent. Their intent is to leave up as much as they can because they don't have anywhere else to put it, and we would be able to utilize the rest of the space. I need to understand what that means.
There could also be like another shed put back like there are shed where they could store stuff.
I don't know where that would go, Robert. It's pretty tight. You know, Robert said that there's another shed that could be put up, and we have a cleaning effort that just went on last week. That is a beautiful effort. We have some excited volunteers cleaning up different places. You referred to it, Robert, cleaning out the backstage. They're cleaning out the shed. So we're creating extra room. There may be a little bit of room, but not for structures like they're talking about. So the action is I'm going to have a meeting with her tomorrow. Let me see where that goes. I'll tell her how this went. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is we have a small team to do kind of like what Cheryl was talking about, an analysis. What was the word, Cheryl? Assessment, market analysis. Right, competitive market analysis or something like that. And then we kind of see where we land. But I'm thinking of how do I bring the community back together? I mean, do we need to vote on it or whatever? So Beth and I were kind of talking about that. But what I'm taking from this, with so many hands that went up, that you're interested in continuing to, what was the word I used? Exploration, then I will continue to move forward and cautiously and bring you back information. Is that a deal? Yeah? Okay. You can clap. Okay. Thank you, Peggy, for starting that. Whew. Elka, you ready for the financial? How can we add some pizzazz to the financial presentation overview? Do you need to use my slides? You have some? Okay. We're going to bring up, in this order, we're going to bring up Elka Moritz, who is our treasurer of the board, that will go over the basic financials up to the balance sheet. Then we'll have Reverend Jerry quickly come up and tell us about the pledge campaign and comparison. And then Beth Van Arkel will come up and tell us about our budget and a little bit about that. So let's give Elka Moritz some love. You need this, or you want to stay there?
I kind of need.
You need to see? Here. Does this help? Uh-huh. It should be, oh. Thank you for Andy and Rev Deb. Let's give them some love. Mike Runners.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm the treasurer, as you know. And do we have the first slide? The trends and income and expenses for, we prepared a comparison from 22 to 25 for just the overall financial picture. So the total income for 2023 was $283,344. For 23, it was $357,234. For 2024, it was $3,444, $234. For 25, $357,969. And the change in income, and I think that's an increase, is $13,735.
Yay.
And yes, and now comes the next line before you say, clap your hands. So, total expenses, $320,309 for 2022. For 2023, it's $405,584. For 2024, $382,000. $356,399, and for 2025, $356.22. $356,022. The change in that number is $26,367 less. Yeah, expenses are down. So personnel expenses for 2022 were $149,557, and that number, I believe, is included in the total expenses. So 2023, $224,346 for personnel expense. 2024, $207,645. And for 2025, it was $180,642. So that is $27,003 less than overall. So we have a net gain for the overall of $40,103,000. That means that's the change. No, but it's a gain, it's not a loss. So I think it's a gain. It's well, we cut expenses drastically, so, and probably had more unexpected income. The number for 2022 was $36,965. That was a loss. So 2023, the loss was $48,350. For 2024, the loss was $38,155 for the year. And for 2025, yay, it was $1,948 gain. So the change of that amount is 40,103, and it's yeah. So that's not really a loss or a gain, just the change. So next slide, please. $2,025 expenses. So these are the major categories, not the entire total, I guess. Yeah, well, maybe the other includes the total. So events, education, rental, bookstore. The number is an income. It is the profit, $28,241, and donations, CSL and nonprofits. That's $4,800 that we donated out to other organizations. Sound technology, $6,750. Music, $21,850. Youth and family, $9,136. Bank and transaction fees, $6,166. IT and computer costs, $2,767. The copier alone, $5,864. Facilities, expenses like janitor, landscape, and the regular. What does that mean? Anyways, I don't. $16,455. I'm not sure what the regular refers to. Okay. Utilities, $35,084. Insurance, $19,218. Property tax, $4,353. Fire safety tests and permits, $2,037. Personnel, which is our major expense throughout the year, is $180,642. And then other miscellaneous categories of expenses is $12,659 for a total expense $356,022 for 2025. And let's see, do we have any? Next slide, please. Okay, that's a comparison between 2025 and 2024 of the key changes in income and expense. In the income section, 2026, we had general contributions of $272,127. In 2024, we had $269,483, and the change, let's see, it was an increase in income of $2,644. Facility use net figure, that is the fees paid minus the expenses. 2025, $26,918. 24, $34,112. So this is a net change of $7,194. Hmm? Yeah. Yeah, otherwise it's going to take me ages to go through it. Yeah. In-house event net is $6,185. That's an increase over 2024. Fundraisers is minus $968. That means, a decrease. Education net is $923. Bookstore sales net is $1,804. Sunday food donations, $896. The expenses are for musicians. The change is $2,250 less in 25 than in 24. Personnel, including youth and family and janitorial labor, the change is $28,983 less for 25 than over 24. Landscape labor is $1,577 less. Donations given is $2,520 less. IT and computer labor is $1,166 less. Telephones are $1,180 less. Water use is $1,385 less in 25 from 24. So PG&E, internet, and waste removal is an increase of $1,446, and insurance is $1,095 increase for 25 over 24. So next slide, please. And now what's left in the bank? Balance sheet fund. These are the funds we have as of the end of 2025. And this is actually a comparison between. Yeah, I wonder how you want. I wonder how you want me to read that. From 25, then we jump to 24, and then to 25. Should I just read? Just the current total. Yeah, I think I'll do the current total, and you can look up the rest on the sheet. Oh yeah, you don't have the sheets. So, anyways, you can look up there. At the end of 2021, we had 101,264 in the operations account. We now have 44,667 in the operations account at the end of 25. So then we have a building fund set up in 2020, I think, and we had $9,066, and we now have $7,058, so that's being drawn down for operations and maintenance. Then we have there are some CDs and saving accounts that are lumped together here for a total amount of $221,999. And I'll just read the total of those accounts I just read to you. That's what we have in December 31st, 2025 would be $273,724. So then we have we have an increase in funds of $113. That's the change from 21 to 24. Then we have designated accounts, which are like practitioner funds and other items. And the total of that amount is $18,103. Or that's youth and family practitioners and other designated funds. That's it.
Are there any questions for Elka? Or anyone on the board?
Okay. Next.
Thank you. I'm going to borrow that. Okay, now you possibly can understand why pledging is so important to our community for budgeting purposes. As this chart will show, and I'm not going to go through all the numbers, you can see we have been raising around $200,000 a year for the last several years. It's critical, and we really use this as our planning tool for budgeting. You've seen all the expenses. The key thing in this report, and I've said it before, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I think one of the key things is that we have fewer people pledging more, which is wonderful because that means, yes, yay, we're stepping into that abundance consciousness, and it's so, so important. Can't stress it enough. Now, if we could get from 2003's 101 individuals pledging and add that to the 69, we'd have a pretty good-looking pledge program for the year, and I think there's more opportunity out there. We are very close to last year, a couple $1,000s off from last year's pledges. So I'm anticipating that as the year progresses and we get more people involved in pledging, that this number will truly increase over the previous years. It'd be nice to meet that 2024 and go beyond that, because I always think big and expansive, and I hope you all do too. The other thing is that if the footnote, the 11,757, I don't know if you can read it, says annual of reoccurring auto debits from 12 people that do not have pledges for 2026. So they are not included as pledges above. It may be their intention that the auto debits are pledges. So we might want to look at that and think bigger just based on that number alone. But we're not making any assumptions. But I like to see that number. I like the thought of adding another $11,000 to our campaign for 2026. When auto debits continue into the new year, it helps us greatly to also have a clear pledge statement from each person to clarify if that is their intention for the full year. Now, I know we've had some conversion this year too, some people that were auto debiting that have converted to making that a pledge, which is great because it allows us to know that that's going to continue for the full year. So that's my report for now. I really appreciate everybody for pledging, stepping into the pledging. Yes, Robert. Oh, wait, here. I'll be the runner.
So my question is related to what you were just talking about, which is that we've got this reduction in the number of pledges, and I want to know, was there a process for reaching out to the people that didn't re-pledge to see if they were planning to, if maybe there was a reason they weren't doing that, because, be difference between 2023 and in those 3 years, that drop of 30 people, it's like, who are those 30 people? Where are they? How can we find them and drag them in here and, hold them up in front of everybody?
I would imagine that we have an attrition going on here, that we have people who are no longer here that we're pledging. So there's that. And I do know that we've reached out using our Breeze and our ability to promote the pledge program, sending information. So could that be stronger? And possibly. We'll see. We'll see how that works. Yeah.
Am I on, Rain? Oh, thank you. Just to chime in from right here, we do write to people. We don't want to badger people. We do have people whose circumstances have changed, and so they cancel their pledge or they decrease their pledge. It's the circumstances and the times that we're going through. So we have a combination of things, and we do write various letters to them across the pledge time.
And some of it's a reflection on our lower membership count too. So, Cheryl.
My comment would be that now that we are in the digital age, can we begin to start understanding some of the contributions that come from folks who are participating online, like Facebook Live, YouTube Live? Those people may not necessarily do a documented pledge, but we need to break down our numbers so that we can see how much of an impact we are having in terms of contributions that come from that source, because then it might change our thinking as to how we can better leverage those people who aren't attending in person, who aren't pledging, but represent a significant income stream, because then we might want to do more things to grow that number.
Very, very true and very important, and I don't have a handle myself. Yeah.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's a good point. A lot of the things that we do take a lot of analysis to go down into it, that Dow does, and we have limited time to do that. And that online space is not one that we've been able to broach thus far with everything else that's on the plate. But you're absolutely right. And Rev Ali and I have been talking about that online space quite a bit relative to membership, relative to knowing who's online, relative to knowing when they give and how they give. If it's members and regulars who are not coming because they're sick, or is it people from out of the state who have chosen to be with us on a regular basis, or what? So it's a space that we know we haven't done as much analysis, and we're thinly staffed to do it. So it's a point. Yes, well taken.
It would be nice to know how many people push the donate button during the service, and there is more analysis that.
May I offer a suggestion? We have all of these different AI tools. If you ask the tool to analyze and you give it sufficient data points, you can get some analysis that doesn't take a human person going down that rabbit hole, but rather takes market intelligence using the right tool.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you for that, Cheryl. Well, it's not 100%, but it certainly would give you an idea of maybe are you going in the right direction. So, yeah. Deborah.
To that question also, we have several of our congregants that I absolutely know of that are staying at home and they are looking at us online, and they do contribute in terms of the finances. So I know that there is a pocket of people that are no longer able to really come out the way they used to, and they are contributing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's true. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to move on then. Thank you. Thanks,
Not sure where to stand. I guess I don't need to stand. This is on? Okay. So I'm going to talk about our budget for this year, which is not really rosy because we have expenses that are far greater than our income. And you saw all the things that we've done to reduce our income over the years, but we don't, reduce our expenses, but we don't have the income to match it. So as you can see here, we have projected for this year's budget based on everything that we know that we have, $302,462. And based on everything that we know for expenses, with all the reductions we've done over the last years, everything that we could think to reduce, we reduced. It's still $341,470, which is a net loss of $39,008, which we need to make up to have a balanced budget. Now, our board did not know a way to cut this much money. We've already cut everything that we could think of. So we came up with Plan A and Plan B of how we're going to make up this deficit. And we need your help. Okay, I'll read off of this because I can't see the small print up there. Okay, so we've approved this budget with a minus $39,008. And we figured we're going to try to make up this amount so we'll have a balanced budget with these things. We've already talked about the 2 concerts. We've got one already set in May, and then she mentioned the one we're having in September. And this is about how much money we hope to get there. We've said we're going to do 2 more special events. We don't have speakers lined up, but we do have 2 events, and you already heard about that, the auction and the yard sale. And this is how much we hope to make with that. We really need a push on facility rentals. So we've hoped that a few $1,000s a month can be raised on facility rentals, and we're doing a lot to market that, and we can always use more help in helping market it. We've sent out facility rental things to different faith groups. We're now sending them out to different planning groups. So anything you can do to help us to get more facility rentals, like a couple $1,000s a month would be great, would be helpful. And we also have the holiday fair coming up that we've scheduled, about how much money we think we'll make on that. So we also would like to ask anyone who is able to, if they can contribute more money on a capital campaign project this year. We're hoping to add another $13,000 along with these other things that we've mentioned here to come up with the amount of money that we need for a balanced budget. So if anyone can contribute an extra $1,000 or extra $500 or $100 or whatever, please do that to help us make up all of these expenses so we'll have a balanced budget. And we will be monitoring this throughout the quarter and the semi-year so to make sure if this is working. And if not, we have a Plan B if we need to get to Plan B, which is the next slide. We do know that our copier lease is up at the end of the year, so we will be saving $479 per month after that because we are not renewing that lease. So that's one thing that we know we'll be doing next year. Yeah, no, we tried before, but they would not let us get out of the 3-year lease unless we paid everything up front, which was no use. So we're going to just get a small copier going on next year and take care of things ourselves, instead of use the big expensive copier and no lease. We've already told them we're not renewing. Another possibility is we don't have a Sunday service every Sunday. We switched over to things like we're doing on Wednesday, listening circles, meditations, etc. We could eliminate music one time a month. That would save us $500+ a month. One thing that we were looking at, and we did get some quotes on this, is putting solar panels on our roofs here, because PG&E's bill is almost $2,000 a month. It's a huge expense, which we can't control with the situation the way it is here unless we do that. But that would require a capital campaign. It was a lot of solar panels and a lot of money. I don't know if you're going to mention it later, but the quote we got was $185,000 to put up 78 panels. So, I mean, this is huge capital campaign if we were going to do something like that. And we also know about the possibility of this play center, so that would be another source of income if we do that. And of course, if need be, we could rent out our facility for part-time at another hour, another day to another CSL community or another spiritual community. Those are the different ideas we have in Plan A and Plan B to try to make up this deficit. So any help you can give us would be great. Any questions?
So, I just want to add on here that there was another idea that I didn't put up here, and that's to cut salaries some more. We're already on a salary cut right now. So this is where this gets like really real, and in order to, in my mind, this is still a good story. For us to only be at $40,000 that we need to make up is a good story, because it could be a lot more. It has been a lot more. And so I want it to be in context and to be a yay, because it's taken some time for us to get to this place. And at the same time, it's a real situation here that we need to deal with so that we don't cut more into our reserves. This doesn't mean that we don't have money that we could use. We're trying not to dip into our reserves that we have. We're trying to grow that. So that's why we're in this situation. And that's why the preschool dropping in our lap the way it did was great. And I loved whoever said in the back that it's not just the amount that they would pay for rent. It equates to, and you need to look to, if we're able to grow our community through a partnership like that and through what else we might have to add. So I just wanted to make it relative and in context. Oh, yes. Rain.
I also do not want to cut the quality of our service and the services that we provide as a community to each other and to the wider Bay Area based on these dollars. I am looking at us really having to grow our community in a way where productivity, quality, and everything goes up, not down. Mm-hmm. And so I think we need to look at that as well, because when we look at cutting more in terms of people's salaries, that also look at the emotional basis to them, as well as the impact to us as a community. And I really want us to begin to think of how do we expand in excellence instead of all the other things of which we are looking at cutting.
Absolutely.
I'm complete.
It's a good heed, and when you dip into salaries, you're not positive that you'll be able to retain the people that you have. That's where that goes, I can tell you for sure. So, and we're not the only ones that are trying to negotiate what we do. And so that's why we're doing the marketing for our facilities use to increase that, in addition to how do we do it at the same time that we have an ongoing tenant, and let's not forget our spiritual principles of abundance and gratitude, and knowing that, as we talk about all the time, there's the miracle working power of God that can work in the in-between, and we don't have to know how it happened or even be able to explain it. It just went, what? Poof, voila, right? So it's a little bit of all of it. So thank you to Elka and Beth and Rev Jerry. Thanks for the financials. Let's give them some love. I also need to, I see Robert has the mic. We started at 1:15. I'm going to ask that we stay till 3:15. I know your time is tight and it's precious. And as you can see, this is really important stuff. We do an annual meeting once a year, and this is huge what we're navigating. So I indulge you to please stay. Robert and Eliza, and then we're going to move on. Oh, somebody else? Oh, and Rev Jerry.
I just wanted to, actually, I was waving my hand in
But you have a mic.
I mean, to be in solidarity with you, what you're saying about abundance, because I agree with Deborah that if we start cutting services, we get into like this death spiral. It's like we offer less, and so people come less, and it's like that's not the direction we want to go. I mean, we have so many opportunities, whether it's through the events we're doing, like that rummage sale, I think would be a great moneymaker. The silent auction, there's so many ways that we could raise money, as well as reaching out to the community and really marketing our facilities. So to me, that's where to put the energy. That's where to put the focus. And that Plan B just seems like it's an unnecessary negative approach. I mean, I think we need to be realistic about our finances, but to focus on ways of increasing our income. Because you've already cut down as much as I think you can cut down. And you mentioned there's already been a 10% reduction in personnel expenses, and we want to go the opposite direction. We want to pay you more, not less.
Definitely. Two things before Eliza goes on, and that is to thank you from the top and the bottom and all sides of my heart for your generosity of spirit. For increasing your ties, if you've done that, for increasing your service. That's what we need, volunteerism. That's why we're asking about it. Every member here and those who come regularly should be involved in some level of service here at this center. That's what it's about. So I want to say thank you and more. Yet I, at the same time, don't want to overtap you. How do you do all of that? It's like, we're a small group, and so we want to be able to honor all of that. And the reality of it is, on the heels of what you just said, the reality of it is, if it continues to go in a downward spiral as far as finances, even keeping in mind spiritual principle, staying in integrity, if we needed to sit here and have a heart-to-heart about an even tougher message, we would, because we need to. Like, we own our property. If we need to tap into that somehow because it's not adding up, it might be time for us to do that. I'm saying a hard truth. We're not there yet, but get ready in case we need to be, right? So I see your hand, Deborah, and here's one over here. So Liza was going to be last, but you're on the board, and I want you to stay there, so maybe we'll take you. Yes.
I'll try to be brief. I appreciate very much what you said, just saying, we have many options. We're not limited to just Plan A and Plan B. There's infinite options, so that we can think about. So, PG&E, do we need all these lights on while we're having this meeting? I don't think so. I find people, and this is not on the abundance side, but we can turn off the lights. Come in here the day after, the heat's still on. So just try to be aware of that. And also, if we get a capital fund to put up solar panels, it is way cheaper to set it up in the parking lot, if we can designate, than to put it on the roof, in terms of, because you have to have support and you have to make sure your roof isn't going to cave in. It's just way cheaper to designate an area in the parking lot. It can be above the cars. It can make shade for the cars.
I think Beth had two estimates out. And
anyway.
So I don't even know
so
if
it doesn't
it's
have to be
feasible.
on the roof. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What was the third thing I was going to say? Just
Is there a mic back there?
Thank you, everybody, who increased their pledge. And I can't remember the other things, so turn it over to
Okay.
Deborah.
Thank you. No, you need a mic for the live streamers.
I just want to express my appreciation for everyone in our congregation, because everything we have asked, when I stepped into the board 3 years ago, we were close to $100,000 in the red. And we're now looking at 38,000. And so that is because of you and the hard work that we have all collectively done, that we are really listening and moving forward. So I am really saying thank you to all of you for all the work you have given us. Thank you.
Let's give that a hand. Okay, so we're moving on to Sacred Seva, and I have to move quickly. I don't want, so Robert and Nancy, I'm gonna ask for your help sooner rather than later in recognizing our volunteers, which I had hoped to do here, but we have to get to the business of the board candidates, right? So I'm gonna zoom through just to let you know what auxiliaries we have and committees, and we're just gonna see this like a slideshow really quickly so that we can get to this, but know that I really want to have some extra words about all of the various groups that are so good. So we're gonna move past this. Sacred Seva is important. Basically, that's what it's saying. I'm not trying to shortcut. Next slide. These are our auxiliary groups at admin and operations, announcer team, bookstore, diversity circle, education, facilities use. There's a difference. Facilities is maintenance around the grounds. Facilities use is leasing or renting our space to other people. Gardening, greeters and ushers, kitchen and refreshments. Another thank you to those folks who were over there cleaning up, even as we had the community potluck today. Media and sound, always here, always here. Music, you're right. If we cut out one of our services, even if it was on the 5th Sunday, that does alter our service. And so I'm with you, Deborah, and others who don't want to compromise that. Nominating committee, nonprofit partners, ministry of prayer, practitioners, and our practitioner corps, who are the holding prayer body of consciousness for this center, the leadership council of the practitioners, the PLC, our social justice ministry, our volunteer team, youth and family ministry. Did I leave any out up here? Is there something missing? Is that mainly it, Judith? Finance committee is not up there? Oh, shame. Can you write that down, Nancy? And what? And the leadership team, which is a combination of these. Thank you for saying that. Anybody else? Did I leave anything out? Can we give some hands for this? Next slide, please. Okay, this is the education core. It kind of shows you who's on here. Myself, Dylan McClintock, who's in town, and was in the room. Chaplain Doug Myers, Robin Rice Olmsted, and Judith Roberts. Let's give them some love. Next slide. Spirit Treasure Bookstore, I just love Miss Linda Wyman. She has such consciousness, oh my goodness. And our speaker today mentioned several goddesses that I know Linda has statues of in the bookstore. She's always so thoughtful about what she puts there. It's pretty much a break-even operation, although there was a gross profit of $2,300 last year, but she puts it back into her inventory. So y'all have to understand that. This bookstore is run with love to serve this community. Let's give Linda and her team a hand. Dow Becker, Vicki Durst. Wait a minute. Dow Becker, Vicki Durst. No. Wrong way. One more. Dow Becker, Vicki Durst, Aaron Gaffey, Nitin Sharma, Beth Van Arkel, Helen Wyman, Linda Wyman, Wes Wyman. Now give them some love. Thank you. Next slide. Next ones are the Practitioner Leadership Council, Susan Brecker, Dodie Cheney Fernandez, Peggy Cotton, Dylan McClintock, Andy Robbins, Susan Urquhart Brown. Let's give them some love. Next slide. These are all, the next two slides are all of our practitioners and our ministers. Ministers are always practitioners first, but I separated them out so that you could see who the 21 are. This does not include inactive practitioners, which we do have a couple who are on leave of absence or what have you. The emeritus are on the left side: Lucian Baker, Susan Brecker, Regina Buckwalter, Dodie Cheney Fernandez, Dylan McClintock, Dorothy Mendez, Chaplain Doug Myers, Rev. Jackie Onapede, Robin Rice Olmsted, Andy Robbins, and Carmen West Jefferson. We have 3 that are coming up this year in the fall to move to emeritus. So we're on a roll here. It's 11 that I counted. The non-emeritus are Christopher Brown, Peggy Cotton, Dr. Suzanne Dubois, Maureen Molina, Rev. Deb Hammond, Alice Knudsen, Megan Lemon, Judith Roberts, Susan Urquhart Brown, Liza Young. We're going to hold the applause until the next slide, because the next slide shows our ministers. Our staff minister is Reverend Allie Hutchinson. We have other ministers here: Reverend Jerry Carter, myself, Reverend Teresa Gardner, Reverend Deb Hammond, Reverend Jackie Onipede, Reverend Catherine Socks, and 2 ministerial interns, Lucian Baker, Maureen Molina. We're all practitioners always, but it's worth for you to know who's separated out. Let's give them all some love. Next slide, please. Now we hit youth and family. We have the nursery, the busy bees, the tweens, and mainly, you know, they're in the tweens moving into the teens right now. We don't have babies in arms. It just depends on the families that are here, but we have people like Mari and Ollie who grew up in this center, and so many others, my son included. So let's move to the next slide. Jackie Onipede is our coordinator. This is actually a slide from last year, so some of these folks may or may not be engaged with youth and family. Our teens look like that last year. You know, they look like whole different people this year. And so next slide, do we have something else for youth? Nope, let's go back. Let's, thank you for dancing with me, Helene. Let's give youth and family some love. I saw Jackie Onipede here a minute ago, but she had to go. Okay, next one is social justice. I saw Carmen West Jefferson here a minute ago. Deborah Jackson is in the back. Crystal Fry is here, but she's the operations manager over there at East Bay, so she's taking the multiple communities seriously. The planning committee is Annie Golia, Lula Green, Robert Leeds, Ella Grace McClure, Dorothy Mendez, Shirley Strong, Linda Wyman, and Eliza Young. Let's give them some love. And if anybody is left out of these, please let us know, because we worked hard for that volunteer recognition in December to get all these right. Next slide. Okay, Diversity Circle is mightily led by Chaplain Doug Myers and Sri Devi, both of them in the audience. They've been doing it for, 12 years, probably? 12? This is old. I didn't know how to update it, but as far as the years, 12 years. That is amazing. They meet once a month and bring in different folks. So did we give them some love? Let's give them some more. Give them some more. Thank you for your service. Next slide. The announcer team, led by Robert Leeds. He's all over the place all at once. Cheryl Archer, Rain Dugan, Annie Golia, Reverend Allie Hutchinson, and Anthony Prado. Let's give them some love. Next slide. The music ministry, so important. We rotate and have been doing that for a while. Excuse me, need a sip of water. This last year, Amy D. kind of took over First Sundays because Omega Ray decided her time was up. Takia Franklin's been performing quite a bit for us, and some of these folks are at all the centers, okay? Luke Monfrank, our own Kev Choice, I touted on him a week or so ago. You know, he's the president of the board of the San Francisco Grammy Academy and on Jill Scott's album as a writer, and he's just doing amazing things. So he kind of coordinates this. And today you heard Deb Santa Maria and the Sounds of Joy. and sometimes we have other singers and musicians. And the thing is, the moment we give up or change anything about the music, we lose that spot for the most part. I mean, we've got to anchor hold on, you know, some of these people. So let's give them some love. Next slide. Oh, our media team is growing and burgeoning. We had somebody new on the camera today. Miss Peggy Cotton is there. Alice Herndon, Sam Ledeon, Helene Cirillo is on PowerPoint today. Andy Robbins, he's all over the place too. Karen Horner, Alice Knudsen, Tricia Gagor, Bob Reed, and our youth intern right now is West Wyman of the Wyman family. Our sound technicians, Rain Burhey and Tyndall Thomas. Let's give them all some love. I'm sorry, tell me your name. Tell me your name. Nicole what? Nicole Burke is on the camera today. She's not up there, but look at that. She wanted to join, and there she is, okay? Thank you for all you do. They're here all the time. A small and mighty team. Next slide. Okay, the kitchen team. Oh my goodness, they're serving for a variety of things. We have snacks and coffee after service. We have community potluck. We have events that we have, and the team assembles. Is there another kitchen thing? Event team? Anyway, Andrea Bedell, Bonnie Carpenter, Amy Shovnick, Craig Ferguson, Kathy Hester, Lula Green, Deborah Jackson, Ruth Jackson, Marilyn Marco, Dorothy Mendez, Anthony Prado, Nitin Sharma, Susan Teague, and Eliza Young. Let's give them some love. Next slide. A team of one right now. We have Sage Artist, who is in Truckee, or up in that direction, and Sage is a master on social media. She is posting like crazy on Facebook from what I can see, and on Instagram on our behalf. So let's give it up for Sage Artists. Yay, next slide. Our gardening team, they're so dedicated. I always stop and say hi to them. They're just so dedicated. They love being out in that garden, and it shows. We have Margot Tabbitt, Freya Hermanson, Nancy Hester, Helen Neville, Anthony Prado, Bob Reben, Diane Warner. Give them some love. Yay. Next slide. Our nonprofit partners, we have 6. We've bi-monthly, every 2 months, Abundant Blessings. Y'all gave 3 barrels full of materials to the Jamaica hurricane relief effort that Reverend Ona's doing, and the other one is her local, it's expanded, what she does for the houseless. So lots of love there. At the Ever Forward Club, working with youth, the East Oakland Collective, Faith in Action, East Bay, Oakland Leaf, and the East Bay Sanctuary Covenant. And Dorothy was emphasizing to me, they opened in December of 2025. We had Plant Justice, whoever nominated them last year, for incarcerated people and who were working in the nursery. Y'all might remember them. They partnered with another organization and have now opened in El Sobrante a cafe where you pay as you can to eat, and they have the nursery there together. So we're contributing to some really good stuff. So let's give them some love. Next slide. I think we're almost there. Hang on. Facilities and Facilities Use Team, Christopher Brown, Craig Ferguson. Paul Pursuiti's in here. Do you know, as they were doing the organization stuff last week, Sylvia Hughes is the one leading that, had coordinated with Paul. Paul was on the phone walking them through the stuff that was on the stage as if he could see it. You know, he probably could with the eyes in everywhere looking around. So Paul's still kind of serving in a capacity as an advisor. Javier Rodriguez is our custodian, Larry Wyman, and leading facilities use, as I told you earlier, is Susan Brecker. So let's give them all some love. Who's next? What's next? Are we all? Okay, greeters and ushers. Gabriella Conde leads that group. Sean Dugan, Lula Green, Nancy Hester, and Shirley Strong, both in the audience, are doing a marvelous job of the name tags. Anthony Prado, Ted Williams, and Larry Wyman, give them some love. Larry's all over the place. Next slide. We go on and on and on, don't we? Administration, operations. Dow Becker is our bookkeeper. Susan Brecker, facilities use. Steve Carter, operations coordinator. He's gone, but he works so hard at what he does. Casey Castro is our new virtual office assistant support, doing a marvelous job on the slides in the Sunday service docs. I'm your spiritual director, as you know. Peggy Cotton worked up until the last day of last year. For the past 8 years, and Jackie Onapede, Youth and Family Coordinator. Give us all some love. Next slide. Woo! And we remember all the pets who crossed the Rainbow Bridge in 2025, if you have one. And we just hold that space, and we bless them all. Next slide. As we do, we remember our loved ones who passed on, and there's one in particular that we bless now, and that's Reverend Dr. Francio. And her services were held here, and they were magnificent. Next slide. I think we're there. I didn't see Erin Gaffey in the audience. She couldn't come. Okay, so Erin Gaffey has been chairing the nominating committee, and Dottie Baker and Deborah Jackson is the board liaison. Dorothy Mendez, Larry Williams were on this committee and interviewed our candidates. And so now don't go to the next slide. We're at that point. On behalf of the nominating committee, Deborah, would you like to mention our candidates by name, please, so that we can validate them?
Okay, this is not something I had intended to do because I was in the kitchen, but I want to absolutely introduce our beautiful, wonderful, thank you, candidates for this year. And I would like a person on that committee, if at all. Well, I'm here. So we have two phenomenal people that we would like to introduce to the community this year. As you know, we as the nominating committee are always asking everyone in our community to serve. And what we would like them to do is say yes to on the board, because as you know, we do a lot of work in this community. All of you do, and I give thanks to that. But today we are going to honor the nominees of Doug Myers and also Dr. Suzanne Dubois. And we are also asking them, if I'm at all, I think, to just come up and tell a good.
Or at least to say hi, but we're running short of time, so say hi quickly.
Okay, so I would like to present to you Doug Myers and Susan, and one at a time they will come up, Suzanne Dubois, and they will come up and tell you a little bit about who they are and why they said yes to serving on the board. Yeah? So, Suzanne Dubois, come on up. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I want to say, wasn't the bio up there? I'm just going to make it short. I'm here because that song that we heard today, Stand By Me, Call on Me, somebody called me. A couple people called me. And it will literally be, it is an opportunity that I embrace to serve, support, and grow this community. That's it.
Hi there, my name is Doug Myers. I've been around a while, and if some of you may remember that I have served on the former boards of trustees and the core council. So I'm really here because of Deborah Jackson, who came after me and then when I expressed a little bit of interest, Aaron thrust the application into my hands, and then I met with the nominating corps. And even Reverend Sunshine Michelle checked in on me, still kind of taking my temperature. So I didn't immediately say yes. They gave me some room. And ultimately, who am I to say no to Spirit when Spirit calls?
Thank you.
Yeah. Huh?
Your arm's still sore from being twisted? No. Okay, Rain, am I on? Yes, I'm on. And I will just add quickly that the nominating committee vetted, we all, myself included, vetted these candidates and interviewed them. So, and we presented the slate to the board and they approved it. So we are presenting to you these two candidates for confirmation. And I am looking for, from members, this might be a mixed audience. It looks like most of the folks I'm seeing in here are members. We would like to, I will ask for a show of hands to confirm this slate. And so all in favor of confirming this slate, please raise your hand. Nancy, please count. That's everybody, including myself, okay? Yeah, you get to vote. Okay, is there anyone opposed? Okay, well, congratulations to the two of them. Let's give them some love. And we can't go by without this. I'll bring you up in just a moment. And so I'd like to bring up Sam Ladione and Beth Van Arkel, who have completed their term, their 3-year term. And I want to recognize them for their hard work. I know what I would say about Sam is he is such a deep spiritual mind and presence, and he just has a way about him that is so soothing, and he has been really great. And then when he served as vice president and when Beth hasn't been there and he stepped in to lead, I was like, go Sam. He really does such a lovely job as a leader. So I want to recognize you and give you just a little token of appreciation. Thank you so much for being on the board. And Beth Van Arkel, this is her 3rd term on the board, not consecutive, but she has served, she told me, 9 years. That's probably enough, almost a decade, huh? And she served as the president for 2 years and has such a high attention to detail that she doesn't let anything slip by. So she was digging stuff out that we hadn't confirmed from, like, where'd you get that? But under her watch, we know we've got everything covered. So thank you so much for your diligence and for helping us to get where we are in such a tough time. So thank you for that. Let's give Beth and Sam a hand. You can stay up here. Okay, and then we have our continuing folks. Our Elka Moritz, her term actually is up as well, and we talked her into continuing for another term, at least for part of it, as much as she could. Where are you, Elka? There you are. Come on up here, because we need, a treasurer is a really important role. You know, when we're confirming with the state of California, they ask for who the CEO is, that's what they call it, which would be me, the treasurer and the secretary. So thank you for your hard work and for keeping us honest and for serving again. And we also want to bring up Deborah Jackson, who was just up here. And I can always count on Deborah to, just like she did back there. She will continue to do that because she always has a question or questions or keeps us honest. Thank you so much for your service and for continuing on the board. And last but not least is Ms. Nancy Hester. Come on up here. Her term also expired. I said, 3 years? It's been that already? Will you continue? Will you run again? We're able to do this without bringing the slate to you because we had more slots than candidates, right? So they're just continuing. They've already been vetted. Nancy has been serving as the secretary, and she's volunteering for everything, and you get extra points because you bring the minister lunch. Thank you for your service. This is our continuing board. Oh, and let me bring you up, because now we have 2 new board members, so come on up, both of you. We have outgoing and incoming. Oh, Rev even gets one of these. This says Doug on it. Thank you. I couldn't give everybody else one. That means you have to do some work, though. No. Don't worry, we got stuff for you to do. And here's Dr. Suzanne. Thank you, dear. Congratulations for being newly on the board. Let's give them all some love. We made it, and we went 10 minutes over 10 minutes over what I said. So if you have questions, then you can just email. We can't say email the president yet because we haven't elected one, right? We're going to elect the officers at our next meeting, but email one of us. You certainly can email me at revsunshine@oaklandcsl.org, and I'll give it to the board. If you have any questions or comments, thank you so much. So is there someone who would like to pray us out? No. Nancy, where are you going? No, stay on up there. Thank you, Sam. Rain, can you?
The God who is one, moving in and through us, witnessed what had just happened. The words, the intention, the people moving in and through us as one body, as one mind. And the work continues. We thank each and every one of us present, those who have contributed, those who led, Reverend Sunshine in the helm to make this body moving and growing. With deep gratitude, I am grateful that the word is here, right now, and spoken, and that it is released in the ethers of the universe, knowing it's already done with our heart's desire and intention. Thank you, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you for coming, everybody, and for staying. We love you. Be safe. Have a good spring day. Yay! Turn me off, Rain.